Liv here. And Kate here too. It's been a while since we've seen you guys.
Yeah, and we hope that you've been having a great summer. What have you been up to in your holidays? What have you been up to, Kate?
I've been up to so many things. I've been going to the beach and eating lots of ice cream. Like, I really like ice cream, so I'm trying to take photos of 100 different types of ice cream. Anyways, that's a side story. I've also been learning to read, or learning to read again. It's been a while since I've read books, and so I'm trying to be better at that this year. And Liv, I'm learning that I really like reading.
That's so fun, Kate. I wonder if any of you at home have been reading too. Well, today I have an activity that's heaps of fun and we can all try it at home. So let's go have a look. So my challenge today is to fill this jar with some things that I have here. I have some big rocks, some little pebbles or stones, and some green sand. And you can do this activity along with me. You can pause me now and run and grab a jar, some rocks, some little rocks, and maybe some sand or some dirt too. But I'm going to start filling my jar. So what do you think I should start with? Maybe I should start with the big rocks, or what about the sand? I'm going to start with the big rocks and we'll see if we can fill my jar all the way up. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. And you know, some of these rocks have some names on them. And these are names of people that we've been talking about the last few weeks. Abraham, Mary Magdalene, Elijah, and Elisha. What about Timothy? Do you remember learning about them? They were all people from the Bible, people who found themselves in God's story. But what is God's story? Well, God's story starts at the very beginning. It starts with Him. And He created the whole world and everything in it. And He created people just like you and me. And these people were so close to God. They got to walk with Him and talk with Him in a garden called Eden. But then one day, they chose to do the one thing God asked them not to do. And sin entered the world. It meant that they were separated from God. But God had a plan. Oh, all right, it's looking pretty full there. Do you reckon there's room for some stones and some sand? Which one should I use next? I think I'm going to put the rocks in. Are you ready? Oh, starting to go everywhere. You see, God had a plan to send His Son Jesus to earth so that we might be close to Him again. And Jesus told the people all about the kingdom God's building and how there's room for every heart. The story isn't finished yet. All right, it's looking pretty full. Do you think we can fit some sand in there? Let's have a look. Let's see if we can fill it all the way up. There's lots of room in there. Can you see all the green sand going down? All right, I think it's looking pretty full. And you know, just like this jar looked pretty full when we put the big rocks in, there was more room for all the little rocks and the green sand as well. There is room for every heart in God's story. And you might have seen, as I was putting the rocks in, we talked about some of the people from the Bible, but there were also some rocks with some other names in there. Some names like Josh and Eli and Ivy and Isla, because we can all be found in God's story. God wants every heart to be found in His story.
Wow, that was amazing, Liv. You know, I know a heart who found themselves in Jesus' story. Have you ever heard the story before of that boy who fed like 5,000 people with just 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread? We can read about it in the Bible in John chapter 6, and it was amazing. It was a miracle. But have you ever stopped to think about what it actually would have been like for that kid? Like, he would have just woken up like any other day, but I wonder, did he have this special feeling inside him that day? Kind of like when it's your birthday. And I guess he would have woken up, he would have put on his sandals and, or his shoes. There we are. And then on his way out that day, his mum or some grown up in the house would have given him some food. Ooh, fish. Yep, I'll take 2 of those. Oh, and they're frozen, so they'll stay fresher for longer. Yum. Oh, ow. And some bread. Okay. Oh, 3 breads. Oh, yes. Oh, 4. Okay. Oh, okay. 1 in there. And I think we're going to have to use this one because my pockets are kind of full. Okay. Oh. And then he would have just, I guess, taken his food, his shoes, and gone about his day. Now, Jesus was busy teaching lots of people that day. Like loads of people. Like people everywhere. And well, it says there were 5,000 men there. So that doesn't even include the women and the children. So there were so many people. And Jesus knew they'd probably be hungry by now. So he asked his disciples, he asked his best friends, guys, how are we going to feed these people? You know, one disciple said, he was pretty good at maths. He said, Jesus, this is going to take like 6 months worth of wages to actually buy enough food to feed all these people. That's 6 months of working just for like 1 meal. That's seriously expensive. But then another disciple said, Jesus, I found a boy who has something he might be able to give. So I wonder, how did that disciple find that boy amongst all of those people? Like, did that boy have to just jump up and down to get their attention? Or did he have to like tug on their clothes? Or did he have to like, was he a little bit short like me and have to maybe climb a tree? You know, sometimes adults can get really busy and sometimes it can be really hard to get their attention. So why did this boy do it? You know, that day he would have just woken up like any other day. He was really just taking some food to this event he was going to. But when he met Jesus, everything changed. He found out how amazing Jesus was, the things he was teaching, the things he was doing, and this boy wanted to be part of it too. He found himself in Jesus' story. So he must have decided, I'm going to be really brave. I'm going to speak up and say that I have some stuff that I can share too. I want to help. I want to help feed all of these people. And you know, it wasn't much that he could give, but Jesus saw what he could give and he decided that I'm going to use that. So Jesus took the food, he prayed, he gave thanks to God for the little bit of food that they had, and then they began to feed all of those people. 5,000 plus people. He kept feeding the people until they were full. Like, I don't think it was raining food that day, but I have a feeling it would have been kind of like that. Like the food just kept coming.
Liv, I was so impressed at how much stuff you could fit inside that jar. Like all the rocks and little pebbles and then all the sand. Like it was a really good reminder of how every heart is found in Jesus' story.
It's so true, Kate. And just like the little boy and his lunch, like it was something so small, but Jesus had a big plan for all the people there and he did a miracle.
Yeah. You know, we cannot wait this year to explore more of how every heart is found in Jesus' story.
That's right. We'll see you next week. Bye.